We began our journey in Kwazulu Natal, where we toured the Isimangaliso Wetland Park in St Lucia. Now today we're off to Ponta Do Ouro on the Mozambique coast. Ponta Do Ouro is one of the lesser developed areas of Mozambique, renowned for its pristine beaches. Local taxis are all four-wheel drive vehicles, and owners further modify them with bigger wheels and a bigger radiator to avoid overheating.
Ponta Do Ouro is one of the special areas of Mozambique. It is a place where just in one shot you are able to have one of the best beaches of Mozambique. You are able to go to wildlife because we have the special Maputo Special Reserve, and you are able also to experience very strong cultural events here at Ponta Do Ouro. It is a place where we declare a marine reserve, so it means that we have standards for the development of the area itself. So this is what I can tell you as a very special things for Ponta Do Ouro. But we got the investment opportunities. You can see there are a few hotels, lodges, but we get a lot of space from here up to Matutuini district, let me say the headquarters of Matutuini district, that is Bela Vista. And there are many spots where you can do the development of tourism, including within the Maputo Special Reserve.
After chatting with some of the locals and tourists, I learned they prefer the roads within the town to remain the way they are, as it complements the rustic escape of Ponta Do Ouro.
Favorites depends on which angle you look at it, but I would say I enjoyed the Mozambique routes more because it was something I'd never experienced. It's something that I would like to do again.
They can improve the infrastructure for the investors so that they can build the roads and build other infrastructure as well for the investors, and let the 4x4 sandy route remain.
They could fix the potholes on the proper roads, but on the dirt roads, I think that should be kept the way it is.
The flourishing little town also contains some of the best intact reefs in the world. Being just 10 kilometers from the Cozy Bay KZN border, the area sees a flood of South African tourists during the peak seasons, especially New Year's Eve. To accommodate the influx, Mozambican Tourism Minister says that infrastructure upgrades and accommodation facilities are much needed, although not just in Ponta Do Ouro, but across the country.
In Mozambique now, the figures that we got last year, 1.85 million tourists coming to Mozambique. And I have to say that that was a great move because we came from 250,000 in 2000, and the numbers have been growing every day. Today we can say that things are going very well. There are many countries that are complaining that the tourists are not coming, but that is not the case of Mozambique, and that's why we have shortage of accommodation for them. At the city of Maputo, they've been fully booked from May up to date. Every day is difficult to get hotels, so if people come and invest, they will make good money. And here at Ponta Do Ouro, there is a lot of tourists. Let me say, just December, the period of December, that is high season, you can get more than 200,000 tourists coming to this place. And the numbers have been growing year to year. So we need hotels, we need lodges. Quality hotels, quality lodges. But to make that work well, we need also training. If, let me say, if someone decides to build a children's school here, just to teach people basic things, that could be a very good source of business. We are trying as a government to provide training for people, but it's not enough. The growing of the industries, the speed is so high that we are not coping with that, and we need more.
Although many people want the roads within Ponta Do Ouro to remain the way they are, main roads, such as the road from the Cozy Bay border to Maputo, need development to facilitate trade and industry.
In the area of infrastructure, we have begun to identify each country on its own first, but also at a ministerial level. When we meet at a ministerial level between the three countries, we have been able to identify areas that requires urgent attention. And one of those areas, for instance, that requires urgent attention is the road between Cozy Bay and Maputo on the Mozambican side. And we know that the government of Mozambique is actually doing whatever it takes to ensure that we see the start of the building of that road from next year. And for us, it is now a commitment because it is a very important catalytic road that will be linking as an economic spine, will be linking Kwazulu Natal and Maputo, and that will be shortening the distance from Maputo to Durban by almost about 4 hours.
That is also an investment opportunity. We have opened the possibilities of investors to come, build roads, and explore toll roads. And because of the numbers of tourists coming to Mozambique, returns are going to be very good. But still, the government is deciding to try to get funds to do that. And we hope that by next year we'll be able to build a road from Maputo, the bridge from Maputo to Katembe, the other side of the bay in Maputo, and then the road all the way from Maputo to Ponta Do Ouro, of course linking with the border that we have with South Africa.
Mozambique's main economic contributors are agriculture and tourism. Although the country is in need of development, industries such as chemical manufacturing, aluminium, and petroleum production are fast growing. From Mozambique, it was back on the 4x4s and off to Swaziland, stopping only for a loo break, a smoke break, or a dance break. After another smooth border crossing process, we entered the Tshwane Royal National Park, the country's largest protected area and home to 4 of the Big Five. A country with only 1.2 million people, Swaziland has positioned itself as an export economy. The Swaziland Investment Promotion Authority was created through an Act of Parliament and is wholly funded by the government. They aim to attract and facilitate FDI in the country.
It's not an easy time considering the global economic crisis and the issues we've seen mostly in the Eurozone and other parts of the world. And Swaziland obviously well documented in terms of some of the challenges that the economy is going through. But at the same time, we've seen, I think, a shift in terms of some of the operations or global operations where Asia, which has been predominantly the hub for manufacturing, and the countries like China where the wages have gone up, and all of a sudden some sectors are slowly coming back into Africa. So we've had a fairly balanced, I think, FDI inflow, but not at the levels that we were anticipating, slightly lower.
But through the East-3-Route initiative, the aim is to grow the tourism industry.
Over the past few years, we've got 1 million people coming into the country, 1.3. We launched the Visit Swaziland campaign. And after the Visit Swaziland campaign, which was launched in the eyes of the world, a lot of people started coming to Swaziland. In fact, we had 13.5% growth. And then after that, we had a rise by 22%. So it can just tell you that people are coming to Swaziland for different reasons. Others are coming for conferencing. There is quite a number of conferences taking place in Swaziland because of its stability. And I can tell you even this route, the East-3-Route, will create a lot of awareness about the country through the media and through other channels of marketing. So I think we're expecting quite a number of people coming to the country.
Traveling from Tshwane to the capital, Mbabane, a lot of development could be seen along the way.
A lot of people are coming to Swaziland, but we still have a struggle of hotels. Like we've got only the whole country, I'm saying about the whole country, we've got only 5,000 beds. So you can imagine if I can bring 6,000 people in the country, it's a big problem. So we need investment in hotel, in lodges. And again, we need big investment in infrastructure development. There are quite a number of, pitfalls that we have as far as infrastructure is concerned.
The minister says that they have already begun mobilizing private sector investments into the tourism sector.
We're working with the UN to come up with a master plan, because it is in the master plan where there will be issues of engagement, how we engage private sector, because private sector has always been a little bit slower, and I can safely say it's not happening only in Swaziland, it's happening in the world.
I typically call Swaziland soft Africa, for good reasons. People think of Africa, they think of war, famine, pestilences, including malaria, yellow fevers, and so on. And I can assure you that don't exist here. You don't have malaria, you don't have yellow fever. the infrastructure, road and rail works. And these are some of the challenges that investors find when investing in Africa. So we believe Swaziland offers an excellent location in terms of quality infrastructure, road and rail, superb, excellent workforce with high literacy rates. But above all, investors looking at Africa typically look at the main markets, the main attractions, South Africa, case in point, and Swaziland being a neighbor and having duty-free access into the South African market becomes a compelling case as in supporting into the South African market.
The East-3-Route won't just be marketed within the 3 participating countries, but internationally. The next 5 years will be a vital time in positioning it as a world-class tourist destination.
My 5-year projection that what this route needs to be is to position this route to become one of those routes, a must-see route. A route that anyone who comes into the South African part must say, my trip will be incomplete if I have not gone to Mozambique, if I have not gone to Swaziland, vice versa. We actually want to see a route where we will be seeing a boom along the route in terms of investment opportunities, an increase in infrastructure development. We can see many people who live in the quagmire of poverty lifting themselves out of that quagmire of poverty, doing certain things that would actually earn them a living. That is the ideal situation.
I think it's an incredibly ambitious program. The distances and logistics are extremely complicated. I think it's very interesting that there are 3 national governments, 3 provincial governments and regional governments and product owners who are all cooperating to put this together. But I think when it emerges with a singular head and a lead, it'll be a very valuable and exciting new product for Southern Africa. And it's an area that does need new products. So I think on the whole I'm very glad it came.
The whole route was a good idea, even though it should have been better. There was some miscoordination in certain countries. But then it's the first time that we're actually doing it, so we hope that the following times they're going to be better.
I want to see the cynicism declining. I want to see people having no xenophobia about their neighbors coming into them. I want to see our economies growing such that we actually avoid an influx of people from one country to the other, because people will be fighting for the scarcity of resources. In that regard, we will all become winners.
We've come to the end of our voyage, one that has opened our eyes to the commercial value of a partnership between 3 Southern African countries, and perhaps changed our perceptions of doing business in Africa. That's the East-3-Route initiative. From me, Nadira and the team here, it's goodbye.